see a reasonable turnout. It's so weird trying to organise a socially distanced event and people send you messages saying, we totally support you, but we're shielding and we don't feel very comfortable about coming. But anyway, so I'm really pleased that some people have come today. We're here to do two things. We're here to celebrate the 72nd birthday of our NHS, actually three things. To thank our fantastic NHS staff in Ealing Hospital, certainly Dennis Brown. But also to say to the NHS bosses in North West London and at the Trust that we won't let them downgrade and run down our hospital. It's a disgrace, all the services that they've already taken. And so our message is, love our NHS, happy second birthday, hands off Ealing Hospital. So that's really going to be our main thing today. For government and the way that they've handled the whole coronavirus crisis is absolutely appalling. So they're all dreading today and dreading tomorrow when they should actually be looking after sick people. They're going to probably end up looking after loads of people who are drunk. So during the peak, this hospital was really on the front line very, very early on, and they were dealing with 18 or 19 people. They were having to incubate about 18 or 19 people, and it was absolutely overwhelming for a small hospital. So eventually the government sent down a diktat saying that the majority of serious cases, particularly people who needed incubating, needed to go to the main hospitals. In this case it was Northwick Park. So reluctantly but acceptingly, the staff in this hospital accepted that, but they expected that the services that they had taken away would return as soon as the numbers of cases dropped. So we lost our emergency surgery. They stopped ambulances bringing trauma and orthopaedics. I think everybody knows, you know, orthopaedics is mainly all the bones, all the emergency trauma and orthopaedics. That went to Northwick Park. They cut the critical care or intensive care beds, and I believe they also shut the breast clinic. Unfortunately, some of the staff were transferred to Northwick Park, and we've heard that they're so unhappy about not being able to come back to Ealing that unfortunately we've lost some nurses, which is absolutely tragic because intensive care nurses are absolutely gold dust. So we thought we just can't let them get away with that without making some protests. So we've written loads of letters, but they're not exactly rushing to reply. And we thought today we wanted to stand up and celebrate the NHS, to say thank you to all the Ealing staff, but also we wanted to be here to say that people in Ealing, in Hanwell, in Southall, in Acton, in West Ealing are not prepared to see this hospital run down, and we want our services back, but more than that, we want a proper plan for the future of this hospital that meets all the needs of communities. They make a load of lip service about Black Lives Matter, lip service from all the NHS bosses, but when it comes to it, they're really, really not interested. When we wrote to them and said, what about people that are frightened they'll be reported to the Home Office, they just came back and said, not an issue, not an issue. When we say, how are you going to address the needs of people living in Southall and Greenford and Acton and other areas from BAME communities? Oh yes, we intend to focus on them. How are you going to talk to those people? Oh, you know what they do, they have focus groups and forums and surveys, and when they do their surveys, not surprisingly, the poorest and the most vulnerable people just don't fill it in. So we've got a big fight. There's no democracy or accountability at the moment in the NHS. They meet behind closed doors. At best you can send them a written question, which of course they can totally ignore. We want a proper funded hospital. We want an NHS that's open and accessible, transparent, meeting the needs of absolutely everyone. And we are in Ealing Save Our NHS, and we hope with the support of our MPs, our councillors and everybody else, we're going to continue to fight to do that, and especially with the support of all our lovely communities too. So thank you all very much for coming.
Thank you for gathering this afternoon. Shall I start with a joke? Okay. A virologist, epidemiologist and a surgeon walk into a bar. Oh no, they don't. They've got more sense than that. Anyway, look, we're gathered here this afternoon to celebrate the 72nd anniversary of the National Health Service, a great Labour legacy from that post-war government. And look, since the NHS was founded in 1948, it's had some knocks and it's known some crises. But this crisis that we're in at the moment is surely the biggest one it's ever known. You know, people say it's a mixture between Spanish flu and the Wall Street crash and the Great Depression of the 30s. All those things were before 1948. So, you know, it's been tested to its limits. We love our NHS, we love Ealing Hospital. I'm a local. I remember when that hospital went up in 1979, I think it was. There was so much optimism attached to Ealing Hospital, and I was born at Queen Charlotte's. I'm too old to have been born at Ealing. But, you know, I've been an MP. I am a product of the 3-day week, if people remember that. What else was there to do in 1972 for my parents? There was no electricity, apart from create me. Anyway, sorry. But I mean, look, tonight we know that lots of iconic buildings, lots of landmarks across the country, Ealing Town Hall, the House of Commons, I think the Albert Hall, Blackpool Tower, are all going to be illuminated in blue to celebrate our NHS who kept us going. People literally who are putting their lives on the line to save us all. And you know, it's not a very good record this government's got. I have to say, 10 years of austerity. When we came into this crisis, we knew that there was a staff shortage of nurses, of doctors, of ICU beds, of ventilators, of respirators. And you know, we were very slow to lock down, we were very slow with PPE, with the testing, track and trace still not happening till, when is it, the winter or something? We were told it would be world beating by the 1st of June. And we've got the worst death rate in Europe now. No wonder they don't, you know, it was like the COVID Olympics in the beginning. They were publishing the worldwide death figures every day, and they stopped doing that because, you know, the record we've got is so poor. It is our NHS, it's because of our dedicated professionals that we've kept going. And Eve's right that it's very irresponsible to reopen the pubs at 6 a.m. Who was in there at 6 a.m? Anyone here? On a Saturday. So, you know, there's a worry that there'll be a second spike and all these things. But, you know, it's our public servants on the front line who kept us going. And we've seen a couple of government U-turns, actually. When you go in that hospital, and I know it very well, both of my parents, they're no longer here. Both of them breathed their last in Ealing Hospital. In 2017, I was going every day to see my late mum. And the signs you see, they're things like, are you an overseas person? Get your checkbook out, you need to pay. You know, it's disgusting. The whole point of the NHS was it's free at the point of need. They don't check your wallet, they don't see where you're from or anything. That's what it was meant to be. And that universalism, we are told after this crisis, we cannot go on as we were before. We've got to have a better way of the new normal. Let's see if we can go back to those values of collectivism, of doing things for people, not for profit. And so, you know, we've made a U-turn. For a while, these overseas-born NHS doctors that were keeping us going were having to pay thousands of pounds to use the NHS themselves. Boris Johnson has reversed that surcharge. Marcus Rashford, a 22-year-old footballer, has made one of the biggest U-turns. The kids are going to go hungry this August. There's going to be 3 million unemployed. We're heading for a 90s, 30s style recession. So anyway, look, I mean, also I should say a word or two about Black Lives Matter. It's largely BME staff who are on these frontline occupations, not just the top surgeons. And we could see it when we saw every week the pictures of the lives lost. Not just the top surgeons, but also hospital porters, cleaners, Eve mentioned nurses at every level, even the retail workers that have kept us going, warehousing people, bus drivers. There was a guy, Ranjit Chandrapal, that used to drive the 92 to this bus every day until he fell ill in March. admitted to our Ealing hospital 3 days later, died of coronavirus. You know, it's absolutely disgraceful that this government is not giving people the protections it needs. Anyway, I think I was only meant to say a few words. You know what politicians are like, I could go on forever, but I will stop there because we have a real doctor here. We have Dr. Onkar Sahota. If you've ever knocked on doors with him, half the public say, hang on, it's a bit worrying, my GP has arrived at my door. He is a GP just down the road in Hanwell, and he's been involved in this COVID work as well. Yeah, black lives do matter and they shouldn't be seen as expendable, which is what this government is doing. Anyway, I will stop there because I'm going on and on.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you very much for all coming on this afternoon. It really is a pleasure to see Rupa and Councillor Pada and all of you. Aren't you really glad we started this campaign in 2010 to save Ealing Hospital? I can see faces here who've been in this struggle since that time, and we've saved it so far. Aren't we glad that this is open when the COVID-19 pandemic started? Aren't we glad that the doctors and nurses here are the heroes of our NHS? Can we give them a big hand, please? World War I was fought, and World War II was fought by the soldiers on the front line. The soldiers of this battle have been the doctors and nurses, the porters, the cleaners, and everyone who works for the NHS. A big hand for them again. Ealing Hospital sits in a community which is predominantly BME. When COVID-19 came to the shores, we knew the elderly would do worse off. We knew those who had pre-existing medical conditions would be worse off. What we didn't know, that the BME community would also be picked upon. Isn't it surprising that the first 10 doctors to die in this country were all from the BME? Yeah. Isn't it surprising that 40% of patients on ventilators were from the BME community, when only 14% of the BME community is part of the population? 67% of the healthcare workers and social care workers who died were from the BME community. If this pandemic showed up the inequalities in society, the ones who lived in poor housing, the ones who had poor paid jobs, the ones who were on the front line, the ones whom we don't respect normally are the ones who died. The bus drivers, the road sweepers, the cleaners, they're the ones who pay the price of life. The inequalities of society have been exposed by COVID-19. And Rupa is right, and so is Steve right, that they say the Black Lives Matter, but all they do is just pay lip service to it. This government must be held to account. Ealing Hospital must be restored as a district general hospital. The doctors and nurses here volunteered to go from here to Norfolk Park. My daughter was one of them, but I know what this is about. These doctors left the comforts of looking after non-COVID patients and go and serve us on the front line. And the orthopedics and the general surgery and the ITU beds went there, but we wanted this hospital back. What I think is happening is shaping a healthy future, is being delivered through the back door under the cloak of COVID-19. And I asked Dr. Vic Devakar, who's the NHS director at the Health Committee on the 25th of June. He said, at the moment the decision will be made by the COVID panel, but he assured me that before the services get embedded, if the services are moved here permanently, that they will be holding a public consultation. I hope they are true to this word. But what we want, right, and King's Fund report has shown, London needs 1,600 more beds, not closure of beds. So I hope that we get the services back. Our fight hasn't gone. We still keep fighting. You are the good soldiers of this fight. I want to thank you for all the work you've done. Let's keep on fighting. Let's fight for our equalities. Let's fight for the fact that black lives do matter. Every life matters. But I think we need to make sure the society looks out for those who are most vulnerable. And I want to thank you for all the hard work you do. Thank you very much.
So this is the message from Virendra. Sorry, it's quite small and my eyesight isn't what it was. He's apologising that he says in advance if he isn't here today, it's because his health has prevented him. So he asked that I read out this message. The founding of our NHS was one of the greatest political acts in the long history of this country. It took vision, courage and a willingness to tackle vested interests that should inspire us to this day. Our NHS still is, in my mind, is the envy of the world, a testament to our civilization. That wealth and power do not entitle you to good health. The country owes good health to everyone, independent of wealth, gender, age or ethnicity, and it is free to use. Today, too many threaten what means so much to so many. Too many Tory politicians offer smooth words and slogans where honesty and plain speaking are required. We know what we need. We want to know that our children and our parents can access treatment as and when they need it, free and charge. Ealing Save Our NHS have campaigned tirelessly for years to save what we hold so dear. On this 72nd birthday of the NHS, the Labour Party and I, as Ealing Southall MP, stand firmly behind the fight to protect the NHS in England, to fight for Ealing Hospital and to work for services for the community, delivered in the community. Still today we are fighting to save the services we have and to return what we have lost. The worry is still that they will try to sneak the hated Shaping a Healthy Future in again at the back door, but we will not let them get away with it. Everyone here today has a part to play in the fight, and many have shown their commitment and hard work time and time again. I thank you for what you have done and everything you do to protect this most valuable treasure. Best wishes, Virendra Sharma MP. And thank you, Virendra, because that's a really nice statement. Thank you for acknowledging Ealing Save Our NHS too. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, our NHS. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Ealing Hospital. Happy birthday to you. Do we love our NHS?
Yes, we do.
Do we love our NHS?
Yes, we do.
Do we love our NHS? Love our NHS? Love our NHS?
Yes, we do.
Do we love Ealing Hospital?
Yes, we do.
Do we love Ealing Hospital?
Yes, we do.
Do we love Ealing Hospital? Love Ealing Hospital? Love Ealing Hospital? If we all stand together, we will win.
We will win.
If we all stand together, we will win.
We will win.
If we all stand together, all stand together, all stand together, we will win. One more time. Do we love Ealing Hospital? Do we love Ealing Hospital? Do we love Ealing Hospital? Love Ealing Hospital? Love Ealing Hospital? Yes, we do. Let's give Ealing Hospital a big clap and our fantastic NHS staff.
I just want to say thank you, Eve, for giving me a couple of minutes to talk. I'm a...
Oh, no, you're not pressing now.
I'm-
No, yes, he's
I am.
pressing.
I can shout, I'm sure you can hear me. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's come and shown support and solidarity for our hospital. A lot of people who live in Southall, and I'm one of them, tend to think that the hospital only really serves them, and it doesn't. It's Ealing Hospital. It provides services for all of us. And one of the things which is really amazing is, as I said, the great community response. Political, Rupa and Onkar are really, embodying, and of course, our own MP Virendra, who's unfortunately embody that kind of community response that we urgently need. I work for a local charity, And I can assure you that so many charity colleagues are terribly worried about how our communities are going to fare. If you look at local statistics and local information, areas like Southall, Greenford, Northolt and Acton have wards with very high levels of poverty and very high levels of ill health. Those are people who desperately need the NHS in normal times, and we live in extraordinary times. So again, just thank you ever so much. It's really heartening to see how many people are here. We're all working together. We want to continue working together. And well done to Save Our NHS. Eva and Ollie, fantastic. Thank you.
Actually, what Jan Powell doesn't say, along with other people in this community, has been an absolute hero. They've been feeding, they're getting free food together for over 180 people. So I think he deserves a fantastic big clap. 180 families. I think he deserves a huge round of applause. Also, Mark Paulson, who I don't know if he's still here, is the Southall Alliance between St John's Church, Southall Community Alliance, I never get the name, the Young Ealing Foundation and others, and I think they just deserve a huge, it's about the community looking after itself, and some of us have been very proud to help them in doing that, so I think they deserve huge thanks for that. And hasn't that been one of the most amazing things about this thing, that fantastic social solidarity that has taken place with people making PPE, which of course is a disgrace that they should have to do it. People have been producing, making gowns and masks. People have been delivering treats to the hospital. They've been delivering food. Local restaurants have given free food. Loads of people have given up their time to deliver food, to support people in so many different ways. And that's the bit that we should be so proud of, the fantastic social solidarity that we have had in this borough and all over the country. That's the people that we should be applauding. Not like Boris Johnson says, clap the capitalists and the bloody bankers. They're the people that will continue to do well, while millions of people will lose their jobs and go into poverty.
Yeah, thank you, Eve. My name is Balvinder Rana, and I'm from the West London Stand Up Racism. And I want to thank the organisers for organising this fantastic event. And also, yes, I do agree we must celebrate the birthday of our precious National Health Service, and we must defend this hospital. And I want to congratulate all those people who have been working very hard to protect and defend our hospital. Because I can tell you, the Tories are going to make more and more cuts in the health service. No matter what they say now, they are going to soon start cutting the services again. Because the economy is going to suffer the biggest recession we've ever had, no matter what Boris Johnson says. Because already, before even the coronavirus, the world economy was going down. In this country, in the first quarter, the GDP had shrunk by 2.2%, the biggest contraction since 1979. So they are lying. They always lie, no matter what they say, because for them, there is no economic crisis until it happens. But it is going to happen, and we are facing one of the biggest and deepest economic crises. I think for them, it's been quite lucky in some way, because they had this dreadful virus, because that has been hidden all their economic problems. They've been using the Jeremy Corbyn's policies of borrowing and spending on the health service, on the things, because that was his policy. At that time, they were saying that there is no magic money tree. Now they seem to have found that magic money tree. They are borrowing, but soon the right-wing Tories will start to say, stop borrowing, start cutting taxes for the rich, and start taxing the poor and the workers. We will have another austerity. No matter what they say, no matter how lies they tell, no matter what Boris Johnson says, we are going to be facing one of the deepest cuts in the health service, the deepest cuts in the welfare state, deepest cuts, and there will be the biggest austerity we've ever seen. That is going to lead to rise in racism. Now you people someone might say here, what's got to do with the West London Stand Up Racism? Why I'm here? I can tell you, it's got everything to do with racism. Because whenever they make cuts in the health service, whenever they cut the public spending, the welfare state, that always gives rise to racism. We've seen that in the 70s, the 1974 economic crisis, that led to the rise of National Front. In the 1990 crisis, that led to the rise of BNP. And the 2008 economic crisis gave rise to EDL. This time already the fascists are on the rise. 3 weeks ago today, 5,000 fascists of the so-called Football Lads Alliance, they came to London at the excuse of defending the Winston Churchill statue. 5,000 with a 2 days notice. Now, I've been active fighting racist fascists for more than 50 years. I've never seen before 5,000 fascists coming together in a couple of days' notice. That is what is coming to us. That is is happening soon. So we must be very, very careful. We must begin to organize. While we fight against to defend our communities, we defend our health service, we must start fighting and stand up to racist fascism. That is why this Black Lives Movement is very, very important. Now, Keir Starmer, he may be a movement in history, but Black Lives Movement, that is a movement. On next Sunday, day after, a week on Sunday, on the 12th of July, the Black Lives Matter are going to hold a protest or at a gathering on Ealing Common at 1:30, Sunday, 12th July. Please come there at 1:30 to support the Black Lives Matter. It's very, very important that we all come together, we unite together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the organisers for putting this together, this incredible protest together. Happy birthday to the NHS. I echo what all the speakers have said, but most importantly, as a local organisation, we know what this facility means for women in particular, and DME women who are victims of domestic violence, children and women who come for assistance, and how we've lost local services. For example, when Southall Police Station was shut down, women could no longer walk to the police station and ask for help and protection. Women who have no recourse to public funds had to walk to Acton to get help at the police station. Imagine if we were to lose Ealing Hospital, if we were to lose the facilities that were available to BME women and for women who had no recourse to public funds, or communities who had no recourse to public funds, what it would mean to them. We need a facility which is a walking distance for our community. It's vital that we keep fighting. We keep fighting to make sure that we don't lose the hospital. And we will be there to support you. Southall Black Sisters will be there to support this campaign. And let's encourage everyone to come and join demonstrations like these, because the more people we can get here, the better. And I know that we have to do social distancing, but we must spread the word. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Introduce yourself, Aisha.
Hi, I'm Aisha. I'm a councillor in Greenford Green, and I'd just like to pick up on how amazing everybody's been throughout this whole lockdown situation. People like Janpal here, and many, many others who are working in our community groups and have come together in our COVID mutual aid groups and are going out making sure everybody has everything that they need. I've never seen anything like it. It has been absolutely fantastic. How our faith groups have all come together, amazing, amazing hot meal services, you name it, our community has come together to do it. And this is our strength, because everybody from whatever background, from whatever social groups or anything, are all coming together to make sure that we collectively are all okay. I'd also like to say a few things about our carers. I've got the most fantastic care home on my patch, which hasn't had a single case of COVID. It is run by a whole bunch of people who are incredibly dedicated and incredibly thorough with how they look after their residents. You can check them out on Facebook, the Meadows Residential Home. I'm so very proud of them, because seriously, when this first broke, I thought, oh gosh, they're going to be the first in trouble, and they totally proved us wrong. They made sure everybody was totally okay. So carers, they are the unsung heroes. I know we're here for the NHS, but we mustn't forget them as well, and we must make sure that they also are brought into the NHS actually, and that's something that we really need to do pronto, because I think the fact that they're separate is completely stupid. The other one is public health. We need a lot of public health. We are public health at the moment because hardly anybody's getting on with the job properly centrally. So keep telling everybody to wash their hands and make sure that we tell everybody to socially distance, which we have been today, so well done. And also the masks, very important in public places to keep your masks on. I know it's a pain, but it's one of those things, it's the only thing that's going to keep us from passing on whatever we may or may not have. So thank you very much for all being here. Happy birthday NHS, and long may it reign.
Good afternoon, it's great to see so many people here. Thanks to Eve and Ollie for always keeping so cheerful and positive, and for all the people who've been loyal to this campaign and for our local MPs. My name's Mary. My mum worked in this hospital when it first opened. She came over from Hanwell Cottage Hospital and she worked until she retired. I have used this hospital as a parent. I've used this hospital for my dad when he fractured his spine, my mum when she had a heart attack, my son when he had a seizure, my daughter when she had a crush injury to her chest, and my other daughter when she dislocated her shoulder. So I've made great use out of it. It's given me a lot of comfort. My uncle died there very peacefully. We've known many people who died in Meadow House, which is, I know, separate but part of what I call the soul of Ealing Hospital. Many of my best friends trained here when it was a training hospital. They've gone on to do really lovely and wonderful things in the NHS. I'm a GP practice nurse in Acton, and I'm sure I speak for all GPs who say that we're going to need diagnostics locally, support locally from our local hospital. We have a growing population, a lot of building work going up. A lot of these private companies are not embedding new GP services or giving us money for new GP services or facilities. So we really do rely on our local hospitals. We should take great pride in Ealing. It should be part of the soul of our borough. As Eve and everyone has said, the people who've come together, carers, food producers, bus drivers, taxi drivers, people like this, have often centred on this building. And for the $5 billion given away to private trace and track companies, which could have gone locally, when the BMJ published an audit saying that local tracers and trackers do it much better than the private sector, we could have had a lovely new hospital. So we still hope for new and improved facilities, but Ealing have done very well with what they've been given. They've really been under the cosh for a long, long time. So thanks everyone for keeping Ealing in your hearts. We need our local hospital, and I think we'll also need an expansion of mental health services when all this is over, particularly for our young people who have a very uncertain future ahead of them. Some of them have not come today because they've got elderly grandparents that they want to protect. They've sacrificed a lot in their lives, and I think they're going to need a lot of help and support. We've been lucky enough to have our youth in more free times, a lot of us. And I think we need to look back at that time of our youth and think about how we worried, how idealistic we were, and now it's up to us to support young people to keep those ideals alive. And, you know, the NHS is ours. It's not perfect, but it does belong to us. We can make changes, we can have public consultation, so please do keep involved. Tell all your friends and family. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Great to see so many wonderful people here to stand with NHS at this time. I work at Heathrow Airport. There's another economical inequality and social injustice being done at Heathrow Airport. There are thousands of Heathrow staff facing sack from Heathrow Airport. They're already been sacked, and there are 1,000 more being sacked at the moment. That's what's happening now. So I just like to ask each one of you if you can write to your local MP, write to your local councillor to raise the profile of this campaign we are running, because what these companies, all these big corporations who have been using government's furlough scheme to fund their millions of their employees across the country seeking bailout while they're keeping their offshore saving accounts and investment intact. We need all of you to raise this campaign. You can sign the petition. I have already signed this and started this petition about 3 days ago, and thousands of people have already signed for this petition. So what we need, pressure on these employers like Heathrow, who are using COVID-19 as an excuse to get rid of their staff and rehire them at worse terms and conditions. This is the last thing you would like at this difficult time, to get yourself sacked and rehired at worse terms and conditions when you have been loyal with your employer, you have been working hard during this difficult time, putting your lives and your loved one's lives at risk to provide key and essential services. So I like why you're standing here to show solidarity, to save our NHS, save our Ealing Hospital. Also have a thought about the people who are actually working in other key and essential services. So Heathrow Airport, can we all have a big round of applause, and if you could raise your hands to show solidarity to people working at Heathrow Airport. Thank you very much.
Certainly, for Southall, Hounslow and areas like that, the knock-on effect is absolutely enormous. And just the last thing, just to say about mental health, people might not know, but as well as the services that were cut at Ealing Hospital, they also shut the only acute wards for adults for mental health just over there. So they have gone as well, and obviously we need to be taking that up, and there are huge issues, and absolutely right, shame on them. Yes. So if you are someone with an acute mental health problem and you desperately need a hospital admission, you've actually got to go to either Hammersmith or Hounslow. So we're getting a huge attacks on our NHS, whether it's the hospital here or our mental health as well. So we really have come to the end. I think we perhaps should have a little, what? Aisha's smoking. You missed Aisha. Yes. So, a couple of things to say, and then I think we should have a final chance. If you get our Ealing Save Our newsletter, and if you don't, you should be, you will have seen that tomorrow, Keep Our NHS, we own it, and other organisations are having a rally, an online rally at 3:30. So please look out for that. If you're not getting our newsletter, and I urge you to sign up for it on our website, all you've got to do is go on the Keep Our NHS public website, and then you can go in via Facebook or YouTube. It's a really good rally with lots of fantastic speakers, and that's tomorrow. As we stand here today, there are hundreds and hundreds of people around the country from other NHS campaigns and supporters who are standing outside their hospitals too. And last night, there was a candlelit procession led by staff, I can't remember which bridge. It was organised by Keep Our NHS Public and others, and they had people carrying candles to remember the thousands of people that have actually died, and in particular NHS staff. Well, she could go on the road, but anyway. Drives me mad, cyclists on the pavement.
Yeah, we're supposed to be saving the NHS.
So please do have a look at that rally tomorrow. Keep Our NHS Public, 3:30 is a fantastic rally. I must thank all the fantastic people that have stuck with Ealing Save Our NHS. We've got our long-time activists who often don't speak up and come and stand here like big gobby me, but who do a fantastic job, who create our structures at Good Old Arthur, who bring the hats. There's so many of you here, and you do a fantastic job, and you help to keep it going. I certainly couldn't keep going on my own, so you all deserve an enormous thank. And I want to thank all the fantastic supporters. I want to thank Rupa and the other MPs who have backed us and supported us. I want to thank Onkar. I want to thank those councillors who are here today. But I do want to see Ealing Council coming out much more strongly in defence of Ealing Hospital, because it hasn't done so. We always have individual councillors, but We need Ealing Council to do what it did when we were threatened with the A&E and losing the beds, and come out really strongly saying we're not going to let you roll it all back and have another shape in a healthy future. So definitely want to do that. So I want to thank everybody for coming today. You are stars, coming out here despite everything that's been going on. And I want to just end, I think we should just do a nice little message to Ealing Hospital. I think that would be a nice thing to do. Do we love Ealing Hospital?
Yes, we do.
Do we love Ealing Hospital?
Yes, we do.
Do we love Ealing Hospital? Love Ealing Hospital? Love Ealing Hospital? Do we love our NHS?
Yes, we do.
Do we love our NHS?
Yes, we do.
Do we love our NHS? Love our NHS? Love our NHS? Yes, we do. Do we love our NHS? I can't do this. Do we love... Right, okay. So we just give a big clap and a thank you to all the Ealing Hospital staff. Long may you be there. We're here for you. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thank you. Big clap to all of you.